Okay, let's dive into a story about a battle that, well, it really changed everything. We're talking about a single day when a weapon that had dominated battlefields for over 100 years was finally completely broken. This is the story of the end of an era.
I want you to think about this for a second. For decades, one side had what was basically a superweapon. It seemed invincible, right? It totally rewrote the rules of war. But what happens when the underdog, after getting beaten down for years, finally shows up with a radical, brand new game plan? Well, that's exactly the story we're about to get into.
So for most of the 100 Years' War, England was the undisputed champion, and the longbow, that was their signature move. This wasn't just a piece of wood and string, it was a symbol of English power. It could unleash these terrifying storms of arrows that could just obliterate armies before they even got close.
Now, this whole conflict between England and France had been dragging on for over a century. I mean, that is a long time. It was this brutal, sprawling war, and for a huge chunk of it, the English had the upper hand, and it was pretty much all thanks to their revolutionary way of fighting. The longbow's power was just legendary. You look at famous battles like Crécy, Poitiers, and of course Agincourt, the English archers just crushed much larger French armies again and again. Honestly, they were seen as practically unbeatable. They were a force of nature that had totally redefined the medieval battlefield.
To put it simply, the English archer was the most feared soldier of his time. These guys were highly trained professionals who could fire off storms of arrows with deadly accuracy from way back. They could stop a cavalry charge dead in its tracks and just tear infantry formations to shreds. They were England's golden ticket to victory.
But while England was kind of resting on its laurels, sticking with their tried and true tactics, the French king, Charles VII, was quietly doing something completely radical. He used a truce, a period of peace, not to relax, but to totally rebuild his military from the ground up.
And this was a massive change. I mean, revolutionary. Charles VII created France's first ever professional standing army. So he got rid of the old system where guys would show up, fight for 40 days, and then just go home. Nope. These were new, full-time, paid, disciplined soldiers trained to work together and use the latest tech.
And here it is, France's secret weapon, the culverin. This was an absolute game changer. Think of it like a new character in a video game that the other side hasn't unlocked yet, right? These early cannons could hit you from a distance where even the mighty English longbow couldn't dream of reaching.
So, the stage is set. We're in Normandy, April 1450. An English army, about 4,000 strong, led by a veteran commander, Sir Thomas Curiel, has just landed. They're marching through French territory, probably feeling pretty confident, expecting another classic English victory. Business as usual.
And on April 15, 1450, near a little village called Formigny, the two armies finally clash. Now, the English are outnumbered, but what they don't know is that a whole second French army is on its way. But hey, confident as ever, they get ready for battle just like they always have. At first, everything goes exactly according to the English playbook. They dig in behind their sharp wooden stakes, the French charge, and they get hammered by a hail of arrows and fall back. It's looking like another Agincourt all over again. But then, the French roll out their two cannons and just start pounding the English line from a place the archers can't reach.
Can you imagine being one of those archers? This was a total nightmare for them. For the first time ever, they were getting hit by an enemy they couldn't hit back. The psychological shock must have been incredible. Their greatest strength, their range, was suddenly useless.
So in this moment of pure desperation, and, you have to admit, incredible bravery, the English archers do the one thing you're never supposed to do. They abandon their defensive line, leave their protective stakes behind, and charge across the open field to attack the French guns.
And what's crazy is, it works. They chase off the cannon crews and actually capture the guns. The main French force starts to fall back, totally disorganized. For just a minute there, it really looks like the raw grit of the English archers has pulled a victory out of thin air. But hold on, the battle was far from over. The French had one more decisive surprise up their sleeve. And that cannon fire? It had basically acted like a giant dinner bell, letting a second French army know exactly where the fight was. So, just as the English are dragging those captured cannons back, thinking they've won, thinking the day is theirs, that's when the trap springs shut.
A whole other French army led by Arthur de Richemont, the Constable of France, comes out of nowhere and just slams into their exposed side. His force had 1,200 fresh, heavy cavalry, And they weren't charging into those deadly stakes. No, they were hitting the English right where they were most vulnerable.
And just like that, the English were trapped. They've got the first French army reforming in front of them and this new, fresh army crashing into their side. They were caught in a classic pincer move, about to be squashed like a sandwich.
Their commander, Curiel, tries this brilliant but totally doomed maneuver. He tries to pivot his army into an L shape to fight both French forces at once. But his men, now stuck out in the open without their defenses, are just stretched way too thin. The line starts to buckle.
What happened next was just a slaughter. Attacked from two sides, the English line didn't just break, it completely disintegrated. This wasn't just a defeat. It was the total annihilation of England's last major army in Normandy. It was the day the Longbow died.
I mean, just look at these numbers. They're staggering. Out of that English army of around 4,000 men, almost all of them were either killed or captured. There's even a story that one group of 500 archers who tried to surrender were massacred on the spot. It was a complete and total wipeout.
The final tally really tells the story. The English lost nearly their entire force. Their commander, Sir Thomas Tyrrell himself, was captured. And the French, despite their initial problems, they suffered pretty minor casualties in comparison. It wasn't even close.
The consequences of this one battle were immediate and, for the English, absolutely catastrophic. With their only real army in the region just gone, there was no one left to defend their territory. The remaining English castles and towns fell like dominoes. In just 4 months, all of Normandy, which England had held for decades, was back in French hands.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Formigny proved that the era of relying on one single superweapon was over. The future belonged to professional armies that could combine different arms and tactics, artillery to break up the enemy and cavalry to deliver the final blow. This was more than just a French victory. It was the dawn of a whole new way of fighting. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's going to be the next big game changer in history?